Welcome back to the Humble Market Timer YouTube channel. Once again, if you enjoy the content, please like, comment, and subscribe. In today's video, I want to look at which stocks could do well even if there's a market downturn. Before I go any further, here's my disclaimer. Once again, these are my sole ideas, not investment advice. Now, as many of you know, the stock market has been on a bit of a slide in recent weeks. They're starting to get more and more fear in the markets because we have recently hit highs. And even though we have been trading in a nice parallel, as you can see in this chart of the SPY, oftentimes once you hit highs, you get a steep pullback. We have not had a pullback in a while, so many people are concerned that we are in the midst of a potential pullback in the markets, and as a result, many things will go down in price. So the question is, if we do have a market downturn or maybe even a recession, what stock is still positioned to do well? And so the first thing I want to look at is, let's look at what type of industries still tend to do well, even if there is a market downturn or recession. As you can see here, here's a list of the top 10 industries. And number one is healthcare. Makes sense. Even if things are doing poorly in the overall markets, people are still getting sick. People still need health care. So that is something that you would anticipate that would still do well, even if there is a market downturn. So let's keep that in the back of our minds. Next thing, if we're looking for, say, a company in healthcare, you want to look for a company that has a long track record, but at the same time has either had a good bit of a pullback or is approaching or sitting at a key support area and is possibly on the verge of making a move higher. And after looking through several healthcare stocks, in my opinion, this is one that I really like. It's Novo Nordisk. They are very popular for their Ozempic drug and the Wegovy drug. It's their weight loss drug that they compete with Eli Lilly. Eli Lilly has really exploded higher. They have kind of cut into the Ozempic. Novo initially had a stranglehold, but as Eli Lilly has had their drugs that are similar to Novo's drugs come into the market, they have taken market share. And so that has driven the price of Novo down, and Eli Lilly on the contrast has gone up. But there's one thing that's very interesting that I really like about this chart is, as you can see, this is a long-term weekly chart, and it extends back to maybe 2010. And as you can see, it was in a steady uptrend for all of the 2010s until it finally broke out of this parallel in 2022. And we made a huge spike out of the parallel. And since 2024, we have had a huge retracement back into the parallel. And lo and behold, we are sitting at the lower boundary of this parallel that has acted as support for many years. Novo is a very established company. It's been around a long time. It's not one of those companies that's going to go out of business all of a sudden. They have a dividend, but just from a technical standpoint, let's zoom in a little bit closer. And as you can see, if we zoom in, look at how it is forming a W pattern right at the bottom of this long-term parallel that has extended for almost 15 years. And that you also have a line of resistance here that it has stayed within for an extended period of time in that downtrend after we had that massive pop. I also talk a lot about symmetry on my channel. You can see the symmetry in the move up in Novo versus the move down. You see that very often in stocks that make massive moves. But again, it has retreated all the way back down to its long-term support levels. It peaked at around in 2024 at about 150 bucks. And right now we're sitting at about 47, 48 bucks after the steep decline. But again, when you start seeing this W pattern looking like it's forming, and you see that it's bounced off that support line here, and it's bouncing off that support line once again, it is my belief that if we continue to trend, in particular, if we hold the support and then we break this downtrend, you will see a nice bounce in Novo, even though it's had a tough 18 months or so as it's been in a steep decline. Now, one more thing I like about Novo is it has a catalyst, and you always want to deal with a stock that has a catalyst. Novo is going to be one of the first companies that offer these GLP-1 weight loss drugs in pill form. And they sort of have a head start in all the other manufacturers of these GLP-1s in that they are further along than even Eli Lilly in getting the pill form of the GLP-1s available to the public. And it is projected that those GLP-1s in pill form will be available in possibly early 2026. So if that takes place as many anticipate, that could be a massive catalyst for Novo in giving them even a jump over Eli Lilly, because let's face it, nobody likes needles. Nobody wants to get pricked. So if you have something that can offer the same thing without getting pricked, and you can just take it in pill form, people are going to flock to that. So even though there is competition and there are options, more people are going to float to the option where you don't get pricked and you take it in pill form, even if it means you're paying a little bit more. So they do have a catalyst. The chart is setting up perfectly and beautifully. Again, we are showing nice support off that 46, 47 level. If we can maintain support and bounce and move past this downtrend line, you will see a nice move in Novo. And I believe you can see a move back to, at minimum, the upper portion of the long-term parallel uptrending line that it has been in for about 15 years. Hope you like the content. If you like it, please look for Novo to possibly make that jump. And if you like the content, please like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.